My name is Jackie Mancuso, and today I'm interviewing Cody, who I just met for the first time 15 minutes ago. Cody has been coming up on my YouTube channel quite often, and then I caught him on a TikTok live, and I knew that I just had to reach out to interview this guy. So, what I know about Cody is that he's a sound healer and a Reiki practitioner, and I just found out that Cody shares my life number, my life path number of 33. So, you guys have two master teachers here talking with you. So I'd like Cody today to tell us about who he is, what he does, what brought him there, and then what's coming in the future. So, Cody, if you'd like to introduce yourself, I'd be honored.
Beautiful. I'm actually hearing the video, you talking in my ear.
No.
Yeah, I hear, is there a way that I can,
I have no idea.
yeah, I'm like hearing the live stream, I think. And I'm hearing myself in here too. Hang on.
That's annoying.
Annoying.
Oh,
Oh,
I can hear you,
I
but
can
I can
hear
hear
you, or I
myself
can
on
hear
your
myself
video,
on
but I
your
can't hear
video, but I
you.
can't hear you. Okay, yeah,
I'm sure
okay,
you
can you
can.
hear me?
Yes. Do you still hear me in your headphones?
No, okay, now I think we're good.
Sweet.
Okay,
Welcome.
yeah, that was so weird. Okay. Okay, hi everybody. I am Cody Joshua, and I am a first sound healer, Reiki healer, and just all around space holder, I would say. Really, where my journey started with all this was I was a case manager for a treatment center, and I was like helping young men get off of drugs and do all of that. And so my introduction to Reiki and breathwork comes from that demographic first. And I would kind of give free Reiki sessions away to my guys that I was doing case management for. But I am based in northern Arizona, and I offer trauma release breathwork, Reiki healing. I focus a lot on inner child healing, gratitude, affirmations, and just all around. Like, I play many different instruments and many different frequencies. I play with many different frequencies to help people reach different states of consciousness, releasing different parts of trauma in the body through multiple different modalities.
This is something that is not commonplace, right? This is becoming more commonplace in our society, but how did you come
hmm
across this type of healing?
So for me, I'm kind of a different case because I live in a place that is full of this. And also my mom is a Reiki master and has been tapped into this type of healing like way before I was.
Sure.
My mom owns a metaphysical store in Indiana, and she has for the last 11 years. And so like I went and got certified in Reiki with my mom. Like she took me there, and so but where I live in Arizona, I mean there's a different breath work, there's healers everywhere, there's sound healing studios all over the place where I live. And it is a rare place. It's one of the very few places where um I have such access to all this stuff. Like I bought all my instruments in person, like at the stores around me.
Hmm.
So it is not a very common place around. If it isn't where I live, it isn't very common at all.
How long have you been in Arizona?
I've been in Arizona for the last about 11 years, 12 years almost.
And did you grow up in Indiana?
Born in Indiana till I was about 8 years old. And then I moved to Louisiana. Then I was in Illinois, and then I went to California for a while.
So you've been all over the place. That takes a
Yeah,
lot to pick up and move, you know?
yeah, yeah. That I moved a lot around. I moved a lot when I was a kid, all over the place. Yeah.
So this type of world, it was with you from the time you were born, yes? If your mom was
N-
into all this stuff?
no, not always. No, not always. My mom had me when she was very young. My mom had me when she was about 16 years old. So, and she was a single mom. So I kind of grew up with my mom.
Okay.
And so through all that, I mean, there's obviously that we'll get to different parts of my story, but yeah, my mom didn't really get into the healing, I would say probably like 5 years before I did. But I was on
Okay.
a different path. I was on a different path. So
For sure.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's interesting that you made your way to Arizona and you said you've gotten all your instruments in Arizona because just a few months ago I took my first Native American flute class. I was like, man,
Nice.
this is so natural. I love this. I'm going to go get a flute in Sedona. And it's sitting right here on my
Oh,
stand.
beautiful. That's where I got my first flute from.
That's awesome.
Was in Sedona. Which place did you get it at?
I ended up getting this flute at Crystal Magic.
Oh, nice. I've gotten a flute at Crystal Magic before too. That's
Nice.
crazy. Wow,
It's a F
nice.
sharp major drone flute, or F sharp minor, my bad.
Is it a high spirits?
Yeah,
Nice.
that
Very
was
nice.
definitely the brand that was recommended by the teacher,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
pretty cool. So, what are you offering nowadays? Because I see you live on TikTok, Instagram all the time. I see your YouTube videos coming up with different sound healing. So, what do you have that you offer people now?
So what I offer, what people see me do on my live is honestly pretty different from what I do when I'm offering one-on-one sessions or group sessions. Because when I travel a lot and I have a private studio where I offer all my healing. But a session with me looks like a mixture of three main modalities, and that's trauma release breathwork, Reiki healing, and then sound healing. So all three of those. It's about a 90-minute experience, and through that, those are the main things that I offer when it comes to in person. But when we're talking about what I can offer online, I mean, it's pretty vast. I do a lot of custom made jewelry, like talisman jewelry and crystal jewelry for people, and even handmade, hand stitched clothing, like custom clothing for people like that.
Hmm.
And I do offer one on one, like readings and just different. I hold space. I just hold space for people for really whatever they may be needing.
And how has that been on your emotional well-being? Because it could be a lot to take on other people's trauma, right? If you haven't healed your own, especially.
Right. Right. So for me, I see everybody as a mirror, and it could be pretty hard to do that sometimes. I have to take breaks from social media because a lot of people don't know boundaries, and to a lot of individuals, I'm not necessarily a human. It feels like they don't think I'm a human, or I'm some type of like angelic being that's just like has unlimited energy and that can just like be on point all the time, which a lot of people don't realize I have three babies in the next I got three kids next door in this next room.
Uh-huh.
And we're in here. I'm raising kids, but the only difference is I'm just a dad that has like some pretty unique gifts that I share. And I was lucky. The universe blessed me with the ability to take care of myself and my family through my gifts and my supporters, because that just doesn't happen to anybody.
Hmm.
I realized that and I tapped in with that. But I do have to use my discernment. I've had to block a lot of people. I've had to know when to rest, know when to not be live, know when to not post stuff. Because, yeah, it could be posting content is like the most draining thing, I would say, more than anything. Because it's like, yeah, just the whole social media is very heavy and very, if you don't have the right foundation to stand on. And I had to learn that at first because I necessarily wasn't trying to gain a following on social media. I randomly posted a video one day
Mhm.
and woke up the next morning with 10,000 followers and a million views. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now.
That's
So yeah, I
awesome.
had to learn on the way, but it's been years. I've been doing this now for over 3 years. So yeah, I've learned on the way and I still learn because it changes. So
Absolutely. I have found sort of the same trajectory. I started healing people in person, doing astrology readings in person, tarot readings in person. And then I found this app, it's called Insight Timer. And I started teaching astrology and doing readings on Insight Timer, and that's where my following just started blowing up. So it was the same. Okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. But there is a disconnect. I think technology these days is great for connecting people, but it's easy for people to have a false sense of security behind their keyboard, and they have no
for
idea
sure.
how they're making people feel. And I don't know if you noticed, but I got a little distracted right in the beginning. We had some
Oh,
some
for
nasty
sure.
comments in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm used
Um,
to that though. That's, you have to have thick skin. If you're gonna share the type of things that, any type of energy healing, you have to have thick skin to share it on the internet because people are nasty. Some people can be very nasty. And,
mhm.
if you don't love yourself and if you really are not well, then you'll react to that. And then you make a fool of yourself on the internet. I've seen people do it all the time. But yeah, I'm proud of you for not getting distracted because I almost did. I almost reacted to that comment earlier and I was like, "Nope, I'm not gonna give him that."
There's I don't know what it is about my live streams. When I'm live, I usually don't get those kind of comments, and it's when I bring other people on that the negative stuff comes in. So I like to be a little protective of my
Yeah.
people here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how was it that you earned your thick skin? Because I can tell you have a very calming, gentle aura to you. I can tell that you've seen some shit.
So that's a really intense question, how I got thick skin. So that's gonna be truly through the depths of addiction, homelessness, pure insecurities, anxiety, deep, dark, debilitating depression. Like I am like the things that I've seen and witnessed and the places I've put myself in through like because of my addiction have I mean I've seen and experienced things that people couldn't even imagine seeing in their life in their whole lifetime, truly. I mean, just to put it in perspective to you, I mean, I was full blown addicted to Xanax and alcohol by the time I was 13 years old. And I was having seizures in freaking high school from withdrawals from Xanax. I was on heroin by 15. I was in and out of the hospital, seizures, overdose. I've been pronounced dead I think over 11, 12 times or so. Had to be
Wow.
Narcaned. I was homeless from 20 to 25, just shooting meth and heroin, awake for 14 to 15 days at a time. I mean, I've been to 40 different rehab centers in my whole life, 19 detoxes. I mean, I have seen and done every type of substance that you can imagine. Drugs were my solution for a very long time. And that is how I pretty much learned everything that I know about life was through the depths of addiction. That's how I learned myself. I've been arrested a lot in my life. Had to deal with I've had to deal with all that. I've been in the system. I've been homeless. I have friends that are millionaires. I have friends that are felons, and I've experienced every walk of life. I've experienced every type of energy that you can experience. Truly, I feel like I could really say that. And then I look at what I'm doing today, and I'm like, oh wow, it was so I could share it with everybody. But that's
Yeah.
how I got my thick skin was through all of that. I mean, yeah, like I said, I've seen and experienced things in this life that are just like you wouldn't even imagine. You wouldn't even imagine.
That's the importance of going through it and not being afraid of life. I tend to teach like fuck around and find out. I don't buy into the fear-based living. You're going to go through stuff, you're going to experience stuff, just go with it, trust the universe, because someone is looking out for you. And
Right.
whatever your life is bringing you into, it's for a reason. All those years, that was your training camp, because it allowed you to be able to identify with a bunch of different people. And like you said, you know that everyone is your mirror, because you've been that guy, and you've been that lady, and you've been
Right.
that person, and it makes so much sense.
Right.
So what was it that what was it that reached in and pulled you out of that? Because I know that if you were born into not born into that, but if you lived that through such a young age, that can become such a part of your identity.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, the fear of prison, I feel, was probably the biggest thing,
Okay.
and like probation and stuff. Like that was my the last very intense experience that I had with, like, addiction, and with all that was, I literally was had warrants in two different states, and I was like in California, and I was all strung out homeless in Huntington Beach, and I had a warrant in Indiana and a warrant in Arizona, and I got caught in California. I got extradited back to Arizona, and just like it was just such a humbling, and just like nobody knows what it feels like to be just like thrown around between different jails for months, and like getting chained around your waist and chained to your feet and your wrist and driven for over 18 hours in a bus full of other people chained together. Like, it is so intense while detoxing. So it's like, yeah, that was what really, and then solitary confinement as well. So they had put me in a cell by myself when I got to the jail for a while, and that, like, I remember that was like the breaking point for me. Being in the set, that is like so intense. That was one of the most intense experiences, and it was only 2.5, 3 weeks when I was in the cell by myself, but that's a pretty long time when you don't even have a clock or anything. And I just remember looking at myself in the mirror and crying and saying, "I'm sorry. I'm gonna take care of you when I get out of here, bro." And I did. So that was like the main thing that happened to me.
I got completely distracted by a comment. I'm sorry. That is so loneliness. Loneliness has been coming up quite often in my life, and knowing what it's like to fully experience loneliness helps you appreciate the little parts of human connection. It's taken for granted, especially people who grew up with really nice families, people who grew up with all these friends. You kind of take it for granted. But once you experience that true deep loneliness, it's so appreciated. Would you say that that had anything to do with it as well?
Yeah, for sure. Cause loneliness and loss is like a very huge, grief and loss, and
Hmm.
loneliness is like a huge theme in my life. And like, I watched every single one of my friends die, like, since high school, because
Hmm.
we all were on the same, like, that same energy, making the same dumb choices. And so, yeah, like during that end time, it's like when I said I got arrested and stuff, I was literally alone with nobody, and I finally had nobody to call, and I was just like, damn, man. Like, but I needed that. It was like the gift of desperation.
When you were going through the system, was there a part of you during that time that knew that there was a better way to get people off the streets, that there was a better way to help people through their addictions?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because by the time I was in that position, I had already, like, been in recovery and been out of recovery, and like seen, I was a master relapser. So all those like times that I was in and out and in and out, like, there were seeds being planted that I was just remembering. And like, the the craziest thing is when I was getting extradited from the jail in California to Arizona. the first kid I ever sponsored in the AA program was also getting extradited in the same van that
Wow.
I was then, and I was like, so there was all these different connections through that whole experience where I was like, oh yeah, dude, I have to change this. I got to figure something out. And so yeah, I always knew there was a better way, always,
But it just wasn't the
But
right time for you to figure it out.
yeah, I just wasn't ready. I
Mhm.
mean, I just wasn't ready. Anybody that actually knows about addiction and has experienced it themselves, they know exactly what I mean when I say that. It just wasn't time and it wasn't ready. And some people aren't ever ready, you know?
Mhm. And that's their path, that's your path, right?
Right. Right.
So before we met, I sent Cody a Google form just to fill out, like, who are you? What do you want to talk about? That kind of stuff. And I always ask for people's birth information because I get so excited about reading people's charts. And Cody, how much do you know about your human design?
I mean, not too much. I've only had maybe one or two pretty in-depth conversations with somebody, but not too much. I know that I'm a generator, I believe,
Mhm.
but I don't really know the depths of it though.
Sure. So I'm gonna I'm gonna validate a lot of your story right here because this is unique. So it was interesting that you had this unique life path number of 33, master teacher. You're here to teach people through whatever, through telling your story, through your sound healing. But in the human design, your profile is a 4-1, and that is the only profile that has a personal karma. So there's half of the, not half, some of the human design types, their karma is impacted by themselves. Their choices are going to sway their path in life. Other people's karma is directly impacted by their relationships. So, people in their life can make changes and then their karma shifts. For one, you have a fixed fate. You were placed on this earth for a reason, and whatever that reason is, ain't nothing gonna change that. Like, so everything that you've gone through, you have a defined heart center as well. So there's something in there lighting you up, and you know exactly what it is that you are supposed to accomplish in this lifetime. So if there's any other 4-1s listening, just know nothing's going to steer you off track. So, I mean, you get the extra permission slip to fuck around and find out. But Cody, specifically, your conscious sun gate, so where the sun was when you were born, it's in gate 33. And this is what I call the gate of solitude to story. So the fact that you spent all that time in solitary confinement, all that time alone, deep in your addiction, that gave you the time to process what you already know so that you can express it to the world, so that you
Mm,
can share it.
hmm.
How does that feel?
That
Does it have,
resonates.
yeah?
Yeah, it resonates. I mean, I've had tons, like I said before we got on the call, I had so many of my teachers have said these things to me,
Hmm.
like many of my teachers. And just in the last few years is when I started to really tap into that and own that and really like be that person. Because I struggled with lots of imposter syndrome and insecurities when I first started doing this whole thing with
Hmm.
sound and just all that. I feel like that's pretty common with us, the whole imposter syndrome thing,
Hmm.
and like not allowing my past to define me, because that was also a really big thing. Just also like dwelling in the past, not allowing my true highest self, like that wants to be in the moment, shine. It was very hard, and even some days still it's heavy. I still struggle with addictive behaviors. Like that stuff doesn't go away. Like you're just like one day you're just not like stop doing drugs, and then you're just like, oh, no, like
Check.
yeah, a lot of the time like it makes us crazier, dude. And we have to. I'm grateful I found the path that I found. I don't know where I would be if I didn't learn how to breathe. If I didn't
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't like challenge myself to learn how to play the flute and do all that. So yeah, I'm super grateful for that, man. Yeah.
I'm sure it seems like that part of your life was such a huge part of your life, and it was. But you're still super young. What are you, 31?
31, yeah.
And you got out of
Yeah.
this, you woke up, you're already healing the world. You said your social following just came out of nowhere. So you're clearly meant to help people through
Right.
that brief
Right.
moment of time where you went through your own stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like the amount of supporters that I've gotten. I'm just like, wow, this is not just some random thing. Like, and I read the comments on my videos and I'm like, wow, like this music I'm playing is truly having truly is having an effect on people. And then when I gauge the hate to the love, it's like I maybe see one hate comment out of every 20.
Hmm.
And it's like, wow, dude, I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Are you able to put yourself in the shoes of the haters? I can imagine you could
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that
it
they're coming from a
right.
place of sadness or whatever.
Yeah, because I know that I'm not what people think I am. They are what they think I am,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So like, knowing that, I can't ever take anything personal. Because in my mind, my way of life is that if you are somebody that is gonna come into somebody else's space and intentionally try to hurt their feelings and lower their vibration merely because they're being themselves and they're in their element,
Mhm.
you are already living in hell, and I want nothing to do with that energy, and I hope you can love yourself. Hope you can find love, and I hope that you can just treat people differently, because you never know who you're talking to and who you might be doing that to. Like that person that you just tried to lower their vibe, their mom could have just died yesterday. And you are just like that last breaking point for them. Like you got to be careful. And so I know that. So I protect my energy and I just can't take stuff personal. It's not even something I'm able to do anymore, you know. Unless it's my kids or my lady. That's it. That's the only things I'm taking personal, or my mom.
Right, right. That's a different story.
Yeah, if I'm not if I wouldn't take advice from you, if I don't wouldn't ask you for life advice, then there's no reason why I would take anything you have to think about me personal.
Sure. And that's something that I feel like kind of runs our society is giving too much influence into what other people think
Right.
about you.
Mhm.
I'm curious about the giraffe.
So, yeah, the giraffe is my spirit animal.
Mhm.
It goes way back even into my childhood. Um, what it represents for me is reaching for the highest vibrations possible, celebrating your uniqueness, celebrating your spots per se, and just and being a pillar of stability for yourself and for others. I mean, that's and the giraffe has come up in many different psychedelic experiences for me,
Mhm.
with through lots of shamanic work.
Mhm.
That's one of my many spirit animals, but the giraffe is just super. He's the main one. I have like he's one of my spirit guides. I have a giraffe, and he's one of my spirit guides. He helps the Breathe Light community. Like anybody that gets tapped into this community, they just start seeing giraffes and they send me pictures. Like it's like a phenomenon. The Breathe Light giraffe.
That's awesome. I see it. I see the giraffe in you. It
Yeah,
fits. It fits.
yeah. Thank you.
So I know
Yeah.
you said that you were hoping to be able to travel more and spread your healing. Where
Yes.
would you like to
Yes.
go with that? What do you think that looks like?
So I have traveled like in the U.S. different places. California, Joshua Tree. I do a retreat in Joshua Tree every August, which I'll be doing another one this August. And then I go to Indiana, but in like Colorado. But really, where I want to go like is New Zealand,
Mhm.
Australia. Um, I have some friends that own property in Carousel Island, and
Okay.
they want to do some stuff out there. The UK. I mean, I have supporters in every continent, dude, in every country. So I just want to go like wherever somebody will have me hold space, I will be there, like truly. So there really isn't anywhere that I wouldn't go.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And that's something that, being so prevalent on the internet is going to help you with meeting
Yeah, it's
people
such a
from all
blessing.
around.
Yeah, I've met some of my greatest friends through my social media, just through my music and my live, like people that I talk to every day. So it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's a blessing.
It's very nice. I'm currently working on making an RV appear in my life
Oh, nice.
so that I could go travel around. And I have followers all over that offer, you can park
Mm-hmm.
in my yard and you can come stay here, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
With the human design, your 4-1 profile, the number 4 is the number of community. So you are naturally here to influence people, to have people have your back, offer you things, promote you and whatnot. So the more you can lean into your community, I would say the more you're going to be able to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in
Yeah,
this lifetime.
for sure.
How
Yeah, I
was it?
feel that. I feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
How was it that you first found breath work and sound healing and all this? Were they teaching you that at the rehab centers? Because that would be amazing.
They were not. I actually was the one bringing that into the rehab centers, and I actually ended up having my when I started my own company, which is Breathe Light. That is what I go. That's my company that I like heal under is the Breathe Light community.
Hmm.
And so when I started that, I had treatment centers coming to me and renting out yoga studios. So that was pretty awesome. But where I first experienced breath and sound, breath was actually the last thing that I found. I was doing sound for years without really any type of breath work, but that was it was years ago, 4 years ago. I was at the retreat as a sound healer. They hired me to be the sound healer at the retreat in Joshua Tree, and there was a breathwork facilitator that we were going to be I was going to be collaborating with. She was going to do breath, and then I facilitated sound afterwards. And this was the first experience that I ever had with breathwork. And she told me, she was like, "How much time do you think you need before the breath, before you need to like get ready to do your sound?" And I was like, "Oh, I was like, I just need like a minute or so." And she was like, "Are you sure?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Yeah, just like a minute," and not knowing, I had no idea. And we did breath in the freaking I'm laying in the desert underneath a meteor shower, and it was like I saw my higher power. Like I saw like it was intense. I cried. It was the most intense thing. I couldn't even move my hands or my mouth, and like
Hmm.
that's when I knew after that experience I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to share this. I'm supposed to
Hmm.
share this. This is going to be a part of my practice." And my brother Derek, me and him, he was my breathwork facilitator, and he's actually in prison right now. So pray for him. He'll be out. He'll be out in a little while. But yeah, he me and him traveled all around, and we did breath, and then me and him kind of started doing our separate thing, and now breath is a huge part of my practice, and I feel like I don't do as much individual breath work for myself as much anymore. I give it out to people, which this is a reminder that I need to do some more breath work for myself right now. Thanks for asking me that.
Of course. Do
Yeah.
you host breathwork sessions on the internet, or is it all in person?
Yeah, I don't do it too much on the internet anymore. I do free live streams all the time, like on my TikTok where I'll just do like a spontaneous breathwork session. But
Hmm.
yeah, I usually am doing the breathwork um in person, selling tickets like in Indiana or out here in Prescott.
I recently had my first like real breath work as well. Because I've heard about breath work for years. I kept looking for it. What do you do? What is breath work? And all I was finding were the basic like box breathing or like just
Right.
extend the
Right.
exhale. And I knew that there was more than that. and it was a similar situation. I was at a retreat and we did conscious connected breath work. And when she described it, it's just inhale, exhale, in and out your mouth for an hour. And I was like, all right, let's
Yes.
see what this is. And I
That'll
was,
get you.
yes, like wailing, crying like a cow.
Yep.
Like I don't know what came out of me, but
Yep.
that breath, the oxygen, you would never think that
Yeah.
just deep breaths unlock so
Hmm.
much.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some sessions where I facilitate, and there are some people that start crying within the first 3 breaths. 3 breaths, and they are just that's how I know it's like you cannot that doesn't lie. The energy doesn't lie. And that is like when you're tapped in and you're ready and you have the intention to release, breath is the answer. And then
Mhm.
when you combined it with other modalities, because what I realize with breath is that it helps your nervous system become open to all other modalities. So
Oh,
sound healing without breath first,
mhm.
I feel is not as effective. I truly don't. Once I actually started doing it, once I did breath and then I experienced sound, I was like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to open up your nervous system, get it ready, get it like calm and ready to receive. And then and so yeah, breath is the answer. And there's a breath for everybody too. There's a breath work for every type of
Mhm.
person. Like there's slow breath work, you could go really intense. So you just have to really find it. There's a million types of breathing.
I know sound healing is your thing, and would you want to do some of that right now?
Yeah, I could do some sound for sure.
Sure. Do you want to
Yeah,
lead?
absolutely.
Do you want to lead some breath work first, so we're all
Yeah,
prepared to receive it?
yeah, for sure. Let
Great.
me go. Let me go use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Awesome.
Can you hear yourself when I unplug my headphones?
No, but now
No, but
it's,
now it's
well, yes, I
well,
can.
yes, I can now. I'll be right back.
Beautiful. While Cody's gone, I'll just chat away a little bit. If you guys are coming in from Cody's audience, thank you so much for joining. My name is Jackie Mancuso. I don't really know what I'm doing in the spiritual community right now. I taught astrology for quite some time, and I can feel myself growing and expanding. So I'm here right now. I'm interviewing a whole bunch of people in the spiritual community. So there's a playlist on my channel. It's called Spiritual Community Chats. Feel free to see the other people that I've interviewed. And my intention is just to spread knowledge and spread my mycelium to everybody. The more we connect, the more we raise the vibration, the more we just share our stories and embrace the humanness in everybody, the more we can inspire the world. So thank you for following Cody. If you're from his audience, feel free to subscribe to my channel also. And if you are someone in the spiritual community, and that could be something as simple as meditation changed my life and I want to tell my story, there's a link in the show notes if you want to be on one of these chats as well. I was just updating your audience on who I am if they were curious.
Oh, word, amazing. So let me know how this sounds with them. I don't usually play with headphones plugged in.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So what we'll do first is we're gonna do 9 VU breaths. This is a very simple breath work practice, and it's kind of sound healing and breath at the same time. So it's a deep inhale in through our nose, and when we exhale through our mouth, we're gonna make a VU sound, like VU, until we're out of breath. And what that does is that triggers our vagus nerve, and our vagus nerve is one of the main contributors to a calm nervous system. So when we do that vagus nerve, that voo, it's vibrating the vagus nerve, and it lets our nervous system know, like, hey, we are safe. So you can use this breath. Like I use it a lot in my life. So on the count of 3, we're going to do 9 of those together. 1, 2, 3. Voo. 7 more of those breaths. Voo. 6. Voo. 5. Three. Two. And one really deep breath into the heart space.
I purposely muted myself, but I felt my voos changing. That was interesting.
Yes. They get more smooth and more, yeah. It's a cool experience. If you do that breath for like 30 minutes in a row, it's pretty cool what happens. Like you start to feel sensations all over your body.
That was great. Thank you for teaching.
Yeah, of course. So this instrument I'm going to play is one I've really been playing a lot lately. It's a kalimba. I like to sing and do light language with this. And how long do you think I should play sound for?
10, 15 minutes?
Cool, perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
That is so important to just be, to
It
just
is so
receive.
important. It's the most important thing I've ever done in my life is to just be. Hmm.
I have a tendency to live very much in my mind, very action oriented, and I've been
Yeah.
meaning to set more time aside for things like that. So thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Yeah. You're so welcome, my friend. I really appreciate you and your time.
Can I ask what you receive when you're in that position of playing and channeling?
Spirit talks to me really a lot when I'm doing that type of stuff, especially when I'm using my voice, because it was taught to me that the most important sound healing instrument is your voice, and your voice has the power to literally heal like yourself more than anyone else. So when I like if I would have kept going any longer, I would have started crying because it is such a deep release for me to connect with my voice and to just allow spirit to take over in that sense. It's like the equivalent of like when you see somebody in church getting taken over by the Holy Ghost and they're like, ah. It's like the same. That's like the same what's happening for me, except it just looks a lot different. It feels the same though. And so what I receive most importantly is like it's confirmation for me. Every time I play music, every time that I channel sounds, it's confirmation for me that I am exactly, exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it almost feels like I'm getting like patted on the back by my spirit guides every time that I am sharing my gifts openly without expectation. It's like they're there for me. It's like, dude, we're not going to let you fail. Just do your thing. Do your thing. Go. And we got you. That's how I feel. And I'm in my own way a lot of the time. And so, music specifically, it's that time and space where I'm out of my own way. And it's such a beautiful place to be out of your own way. Wow. Because that's the only person that's ever in the way is you. So once you're out of it, oh, it's like you can like breathe, dude. You could be yourself. It's
Mhm.
crazy, man. But it's beautiful.
That's all that we're meant to be is ourselves. There's no effort. We already are perfect. We already are light. It's just about sharing who you
Right.
are naturally.
Right. Right. And
If
if
I
you're
can
around anybody that is gonna block you from being yourself, you need new company.
Mhm. Absolutely. If I
Yes.
could put you on the spot just a little bit, I do this to all my guests at the end. If you had one message to share with all of humanity right now, what would you want everybody to hear from you?
Everything that you have been looking for has been within you this whole time. Everything that you have been looking for is already within you. Just tap into it. Go within.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where are my followers able to follow you?
Mainly TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. If you want long meditations, and then I'm on all streaming platforms for my music. I have 2 albums out, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, Apple, all that. And so it's either Cody Joshua or Cody the Sound Healer. So it's YouTube's Cody the Sound Healer, TikTok's Cody the Sound Healer, everywhere else, Cody Joshua.
Awesome. And the links are in the show notes if anyone
Yep.
wants to click. Thank you so much for your time. This was wonderful to get to know you.
Thank you, my friend. And dude, we should try to connect when I'm in the Chicago area again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'm
Absolutely.
interested in the Joshua Tree retreat. Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yes. I'll send you info on that for sure.
please do. Yeah, we'll keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Awesome. Have a great
All right.
rest of your week, my friend.
You too. Take care.